Why are you giving me away like this, father? Reina's voice trembled as she stood before her family, tears welling in her large, brown eyes. The whispers around the courtyard were cruel as she's fat, she's a burden. No one will want her. Her father's face was cold as stone. You brought enough shame to our family, Reina. From today, you'll live with the farmer in the East Fields. Let this be your punishment for your arrogance. That was the moment Reina's world collapsed. Reina had grown up in a wealthy home where appearances were everything. Her father was a respected merchant, her mother a socialite obsessed with class and beauty. But Reina didn't fit their mold. She was different, a kind-hearted, soft-spoken, and yes, overweight. Her family called it embarrassing. They never saw how hard she tried, how much she longed to be loved simply for who she was. One evening, when guests mocked her at a banquet and she finally spoke back in anger, her father decided he'd had enough. The next morning, she was sent away branded as a lesson to the rest of the family. Her destination? A poor farmer's house miles away, deep in the dusty countryside. When Reina arrived at the farmhouse, she expected misery, but instead, she found silence, a broken bar and a man standing in the doorway. He was tall, rugged, and wore simple clothes caked in soil. His name was Arjun. His voice was calm, his gaze steady, not mocking, not pitying, just a broken bar observant. You must be tired, he said, taking her small suitcase. There's water by the well. Dinner's simple, but I hope you'll eat. That was it. No judgment, no smirks, just quiet kindness. Reina nodded awkwardly. She wasn't used to being treated like a person. Days turned into weeks. Reina tried helping around the small house, but farm life was hard. Her hands blistered, her back ached, and sometimes she cried quietly in the barn where no one could see. But Arjun noticed. He never scolded her. Instead, he taught her patiently how to plant seedlings, how to gather crops, how to cook with what they had. You don't need to be perfect, he once told her. Just honest. Those words struck her. For the first time, someone saw her heart, not her size. Slowly, Reina began to change, not by losing weight, but by growing strength. She worked hard, learned fast, and started to smile again. Her laughter filled the empty fields. The locals, who once mocked her arrival, started respecting her kindness, and Arjun, a broken bar, began seeing her as more than just a guest. One rainy evening, lightning cracked across the sky, and Reina rushed outside to gather the drying crops. Arjun followed her, shouting, "Leave it, it's not worth it." But she shook her head, determined. When the storm passed, they stood soaked under the old mango tree, laughing breathlessly. "That was foolish," he said with a grin. "Maybe," she replied, but it felt good to care about something again. He looked at her differently that night. For the first time, she saw warmth in his eyes. Months passed, and Reina became part of the farm's rhythm. Every dawn, she woke before sunrise, fed the animals, and brewed tea. The villagers began calling her Arjun's wife. Though neither had spoken about it, she didn't mind. The peace she felt here was something she'd never known before. But one afternoon, her father arrived in a fancy car, his face red with anger. "Enough of this nonsense," he shouted. "You've embarrassed us long enough. Pack your things, we're going home." Reina froze. The old fear crept back into her heart. But before she could answer, Arjun stepped forward. "With all due respect, sir," he said firmly, "Reina isn't your shame. She's the reason these fields thrive again." Her father sneered. "You, a poor farmer, talking back to me?" Arjun smiled slightly. "Poor? Maybe that's what people see, but I own the land your warehouses stand on. The east, west, and northern fields, all of them." The silence that followed was deafening. Her father's expression crumbled. "You, a broken bar, own all this?" "Yes," Arjun said simply, "but that's not what matters. What matters is that your daughter is the kindest, strongest woman I've ever known. She deserves love, not punishment." Reina's eyes filled with tears. No one had ever defended her like that before. Her father left without another word. Reina stood under the setting sun, trembling. "You never told me," she whispered. Arjun smiled softly. "Would it have mattered? You treated me with respect before you knew anything. That's rare." That night, as the stars glimmered above the silent fields, Reina realized she had found something her wealth could never buy: dignity, peace, and a man who saw her worth before the world did. Years later, villagers would tell the story of the girl who was sent away as punishment but found her destiny in the soil she once feared to touch. Reina and Arjun built schools for local children, opened shelters for abandoned girls, and worked the land side by side. And whenever someone asked her about her past, Reina would smile and say, "Sometimes, the world throws you away so you can find where you truly belong."